In this video, I'm going to show you how to do the introduction steps of using PYMOL. So on homework 2.2, you should watch the video and then download the program and open the program, and you'll see this box with text output, where command lines would be typed, the visual area where the protein will show up, and then point and click menus for editing the protein so that it has features that we want to see. So I'll walk you really quickly through how to do this. The first thing that we are going to do is we are going to fetch our first protein. And so this is the prompt we would type in to our area. So I'm going to type fetch 1VRE, and that's going to bring up the protein that I am interested in. I'm going to click my mouse and drag, and I can move the protein and sort of play with its configuration. Next, it's going to ask you to go to Actions, Presets, and select Simple. And you'll see the protein configuration changes so that even though it's the same protein, it's now showing a slightly different outline. In fact, we are seeing just a really squiggly line with something in the middle, and we'll talk about that middle thing in just a second. I'm going to play around with some of the commands. I can zoom in and out. I can shift click and move. I can, let's see, what else can I do? Shift click and move. Slice, this is where I slice part of the protein away so I can see the middle. Less useful in this particular preset, but will become more useful later. There's a couple of different actions that I can do that you can see. The A button is the action button. If I were to move it to the side, I can recenter it so that it comes back to center, which is useful. I can reconfigure it to when it was first opened, so its original configuration. There's a lot of different presets that I'll sort of have you use throughout PYMOL, but you don't need to know those right now. Show will show different layers. So I can show all sorts of different things, but you'll notice that as I'm clicking the different layers, they start to add on to each other. So as I'm just showing them, they really start to overlay one another, and that's a lot of information, a lot of data layers for the program to generate. And you'll see as I click on mesh, it's taking the program a long time to show the mesh, and you can't really see it that well. So what I want to do is, instead of continuing to show all of the layers on top of each other, yep, surface is taking a long time to generate as well, because again, I've got so many layers pulled up on my program. There it is. What I want to do instead is do show as, and so if you do show as, that clears all other layers except for the layer that you asked for. So now I'm just seeing the surface layer. I'm going to show as mesh, and now I'm just seeing the mesh layer. So show as is sort of the feature that I find more useful, and not so much show that layers everything on top of each other. So I'll just sort of show you that it replaces and refreshes when you do show as. Lots of different ways that you can look at it. If there's no labels will show up. Cartoon is probably the program or the layer that we look at the most when we're looking for secondary structures. Again, no labels will show up. Dots is kind of cool because you can see the whole outline, but spheres shows every individual atom, which is kind of cool. And then, yes, the mesh as well. And the total surface not meshed. Okay. H is to hide. So if you wanted to hide a particular layer, if you want to hide the whole molecule, you could do that. You're going to have to show it again to be able to see it. But yeah, H sort of allows you to hide everything. Side chains is something that we will want to see, and so you can just show them, or you can hide the main chain. You can hide, I'm going to go back to our cartoon version. L is to label things, so if I wanted to label every amino acid, I can label every single amino acid in the molecule. Unlikely that I'll want to do that, so I would go to clear, and I can clear out those labels. Color obviously allows us to color by element, by chain. So you can see it, well, it's just showing the carbons right now, but that's okay. By chain, the feature we like is chain bows usually, which shows the N-terminus and the C-terminus of the molecule, which can be helpful for determining, okay, where does my molecule start and where does my molecule finish? So the preset that we really want to look at is simple, because this is just showing our overall shape. And you'll see that we have that weird looking thing in the middle. So this is a hemoglobin molecule, and there's a subset of the hemoglobin molecule that is not protein. This weird sort of ring structure, complex ring structure in the middle of the molecule is a heme group. It's a heme group. I'm going to save a picture of this. So I go to Draw Array, I go to Draw, and then I can save the image to File. You can also just take a screenshot if you want, but then you have to edit out all of the other text. This way it saves it without any other screen features attached. I'm going to save it in my Honors Bio folder, and I want to be as specific as I can so I know exactly what my image is showing. Maybe I will indicate that this is showing just sort of the heme group in my molecule. Now there's information that I can learn about the atoms in this molecule. You're going to want to learn about the molecules that make up the heme group. So it asks you down here, what are some features of the molecule? And so, you can click on an atom and you can get some information about that atom up in the top left corner. What we asked for, I think, was students to find what is the orange molecule in the very center of the heme group. So you're going to want to click on, what is the molecule, what is the atom in the very center of the heme group is the question that's asked. So you're going to want to click on that orange molecule in the center. It'll actually select the entire heme group, and that's okay. And then you get some information over here about how many atoms there are and also what type of atom I actually clicked on. And you can see there's Fe. And we should all know what Fe stands for if we go to our periodic table. And now I'm going to also click on the blue molecules, which was also asked for. And I'm getting these weird letters, NC, NB, ND, NA. And that's because there's 4 of them, so they've labeled them 1, 2, 3, 4, or A, B, C, D. But the letter is N. And so, we could figure out, okay, what atom is represented by the letter N. And so that's sort of your first really, really quick introduction to PYMOL. We'll delve way more deeply into PYMOL as we go forward in the next 2 days.